Hey guys, today I'm taking a look at SK-808 Bluetooth earpiece that's probably meant as basically a hands-free talking device or whatever, but it isn't actually that good at picking up the voice, but it's fairly good at, listening to anything you would like. Maybe, have some, instead of having headphones in your pocket, you could pick this up and use it wirelessly. That could be a good idea. I was using it for last 2 weeks and it's actually pretty good for listening to podcasts, some random YouTube videos, stuff like that. So it's fairly good in terms of that. Size of that part that would go into your ear is almost identical with what Apple does with their headphones. And you can charge it using this cable that comes with it. And before you think it is expensive. If you take a look here, there are only 2 prongs USB, so they didn't even spend too much on the materials, which is kind of good. There is a place for the other, because USB is 4 poles. There is a place for other poles, but it's not populated. So they specifically molded this tiny cable, and this connector here, if you recognize this is type of a Nokia connector back in the day that you would charge it. It was back in the day also 5 volts, just like USB, but back then they were doing something weird with the AC on the output, so it wasn't straight DC 5 volts from my experience. At least I had some problems with a cable like that to charge my phone. But that's a fairly simple earpiece. It has only one button. It has over here, I think it's a hole for the LED. That's a hole for the for microphone. Here is the charging hole, and you probably already noticed that it has a lot of scrapes on the sides everywhere almost. So what I did, because when it came out from the box, it was about $5, and even though it was around that, it was so bad in terms of fit. I had to scrape off the edges because it really hurt the ear with the very rough edges, and I had to sand it off before actually using it. But after that, it's fairly comfortable. To give a quick idea how does this fit, it basically goes inside your ear canal with this part. So this part would be covered, and then you would have something like that teal shape over here with the button. So this will be the device inside your ear, and it has this shape that it should keep it nice and snug inside your ear, but only in the right one. So I guess that's basically a earpiece for Gogh. Let's take a quick peek inside. You don't really have to have complex tools to get inside here. There's only this mold with the button, and then you have here a single screw and a single chip. And here's the microphone that I mentioned, and the button on the board. After I remove this, and I forgot to mention, battery lasts for about 3 hours, so that's pretty good. So I'm pretty sure that almost 3 or exactly 3. And taking a look here, there isn't much. You have 2 LEDs here, one blue, one red probably. The battery here, the tiny cell, it's incredibly small. I will try it and measure the current. And the tiny speaker, you probably could replace this, but well, for that size, I don't think you actually need to do that. It's perfectly, it's working perfectly well. This is the Nokia connector I mentioned before, and it even is on the prongs over here, so it's not exactly a circuit board mounted connector over here, which makes sense because in Nokia this was part of the case. It wasn't part of the board, never. And yeah, the tiny mic, it doesn't pick up a lot. I will test it in a moment. You have a tiny capacitor over here, those LEDs. That's a tiny crystal here. I can't even read the the megahertz reading. Regarding this chip, let me write down the number. That's the A3. That's probably the company that made it. That's probably just packaging, I presume, at least this part. That will be probably the size of the packaging. So let me look it up. The only thing that came up after I googled the number is that BM83 Bluetooth stereo audio module. And it actually has Bluetooth 5.0, which this said it has on the packaging. Some kind of Bluetooth low energy data, and it could indicate why this can on that tiny cell work for so long. So that's pretty impressive. Oh, there are not many details really. It has some kind of USB 1.1 interface on it, so maybe it's for programming in the sound it makes, or doing things like that. And the operating voltage is from 3.2 up to 4.2, so that's very interesting, because you still can charge. According to the diagram, it could also use a DC adapter, which it didn't say it anywhere here. So yeah, that's true. So adapter in 5 volts. So this is all in all, basically they came into the situation where they don't really have to have anything else, and it is possible that this little capacitor here is basically merging the signals, so it can be merged, or it can do another thing where it outputs a modified basically stereo signal, which it does. Left and right channel is on this tiny little speaker here. Since I have it all disabled, let me show you how does it work, and let me turn it on.
Power on. Connection.
And it's connected. One press will play and pause. So that's fairly standard. And now if I press it for 2 seconds, it will open an assistant to, voice assistant. Okay. And if I double press it, it will redial last number. So in my instance, it's 4 zeros. And there you have it. If I press it for longer than 2 seconds, it should shut down.
Power on.
What I have here now is a meter connected in microamps, so I can say exactly how much power does it take from the tiny cell, and it shows currently, since it's only connected and it's not turned on, 2.3 microamps, so it's absolutely minute, almost nothing at all.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Flanders.
So now let me turn it on and let's take a look how much power does it take when it's searching. Okay, so now it's in milliamps. I switch it over. It's searching, so it's about from 8 to 10 milli. And let me connect it to a device. So it's still searching, and it is connected right now. I have to select pair on my phone, so it even reached about 30 mils. But let me try. So it's currently in a, well, let's say it's just connected and it's in a standby. Let's say nothing is playing, and if I play something, that's quite a lot. I didn't expect it. That I was expecting about maybe 10 milli, because it has a pretty good battery life. So it lost its memory about last device connected when it was disconnected. And one thing I also noticed, it can connect to 2 devices at the same time, so you can have it connected to your phone and your PC, but it will only play the device that is actually playing. So that connection is still lasting, but nothing really, if there is no sound coming, then but the device that is playing, that the first one that starts playing, it's taking over the headphone. but it still remains connected to the other device. Okay, so when it's playing, it can reach up to 40 something milliamps. On average, I guess it would be 45 up to 50, and at this rate I don't think this tiny battery will last that long. But let me change the volume like you would normally listen, yeah, about 15 mil, and if I go almost to zero, it's still 15. So now I'm halfway through the volume, and basically the higher it goes, the consumption increases exponentially. I put the tiny earpiece together, and let me show you one last thing. How does the microphone stand? So it's basically end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying the microphone quality, and that's it. See you guys next time.